You're a character vacuum to me.
Oh, thank you. As in,
In that you
I
suck my
gather really
character.
interesting characters
No,
and present them.
no, you suck the character out of me.
Okay.
Not
Well,
sexually. That's not a sexual
well, that's not character that comes out, Michael.
thing. That's
You're looking very
yeah,
cash. I like this angle.
bro. I got some news for you. Quite frankly,
Okay, right off the top, should we?
well, it relates to my appearance.
Okay,
So let
you've
me just
joined
let me just get.
a convent.
I wish. I wish. I went. So I got a couple of blood tests. Well, no, I got a blood test today. I had to get a blood test, and an ECG. You know what that is?
I do an electrocardiogram.
No. Okay. Well, I didn't. We've got actually pathology like a minute walk away from our house. So
That's real handy.
I was like, I'll go get a blood test. 8:30 a.m.
Oh, that was a mistake.
We're having two different conversations.
No,
at the
eight
same
thirty
time.
a.m. Look, my experience as someone who also grew up with pathology at the end of my street, a 1 minute walk away, was
Oh,
that
yeah.
everyone was like, "I'll get there at the start. I'll get there before the doors open." And then there's a fucking queue of 30 people, and if you just walk in at 9:30 after it's open, there is no queue at all. That's my
Well,
experience.
that may be your experience, but it wasn't mine because there was only one guy ahead of me.
Okay.
So I didn't have to wait very long. And I thought, I'll go get a blood test and whatever the ECG thing is, could be anything. And I'll come back and I'll be ready for work at 9 a.m.
Mm.
And I was second in line and I got called up. And by the way, the first person that went ahead of me, they were like this old kind of Asian couple. And they clearly didn't speak much English, but the doctor himself was of Asian appearance. I'll say that, and they were asking on the way out. They were kind of asking, what do I need to do with the
What happens next?
specimen? And he's like trying to spell it out to them in kind of like broken English, like wee in cup, then back here on the desk.
Uh-huh.
And they go wee. Anyway, this doctor was like so frazzled for 8:30 a.m. He was so frazzled, and for someone who's going to put needles in your arm, not given the best kind of vibes, I would say.
Does this place open at like 8 a.m.? Like, what are we talking here? Has he been working all night? Is it 24 hours, or is this brand like fresh?
Honestly, he no, they opened at 8:30, but.
Wow.
He looked like he had been up all night or something. Like
Okay.
he clearly wasn't. He was erratic. He was like, I don't know. He's like kind of like Woody Allen, like
Neurotic.
yeah, a rapist. I don't even think Woody Allen was a rapist.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is actually out of brand for you.
Yeah, Woody, if you're listening, big fan of your creative work. And so he calls me up and he's just like, okay, do you have the paper? The referral paper. Look at it. Okay. Please take off your shirt. Okay. And then he's like kind of finding little bits and bobs, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like topless, and I'm just like,
why did he make you take your for the ECG? Right.
ECG.
Right.
And then he's like, okay, please take off your top. I'm sitting there shirtless. He's like trying to get the needle out. And then he's getting the kind of the whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't the cables because it was the blood first. It's like the pad that kind of sanitizes your arm.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And he opens it from the packet and it flicks out and like hits me in the face. No exaggeration. Literally hits me in the face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this guy's kind of on a mission here. Does the blood easy? That's fine.
I mean, if there's anyone who's going to have access to hard drugs and syringes, it's the guy that works in pathology. How much do you reckon this guy had a little bit of an under-the-counter sitch where he was getting a little bit of something, and maybe he turned up to work with a little bit of something still around?
Yeah, Nick, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, because I love it when you go into your 1930s Inspector Gadget voice.
And a little bit of something, see?
A little bit of something, if you know what I'm saying. I don't think it was on drugs. I think he's just a bit stressed. Anyway, I didn't know what an ECG was. And so I went in there and he's starting to hook up electrodes. I don't know what the fuck it is to my body, and then he very casually just comes up and says, "Okay, so I'm just gonna shave you real quick," and he just starts going on my chest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he shaved, and not well.
Uh-huh.
He shaved
For
into my
medical
chest.
purposes, not for aesthetic purposes.
Definitely not for aesthetic purposes. Now, let me tell you, A, wasn't expecting it to get shaved
B, wasn't
at all.
expected to be so hard afterwards.
Or him.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm sitting there, and but I don't have like a huge amount of chest hair, but like I've got a decent amount.
Yeah.
Anyway, I came back home after this ECG with 2 circles,
Mhm.
and Lauren on our first date said to me that she really loves chest hair. So
Oh,
I've never considered even
yeah. This
I've
wasn't
never
on the
even considered
table.
shaving.
Yeah.
Never done that. Actually, what she actually said was, "I like men who look like men," which I thought was
Ooh,
interesting for a
that's actually
pretty
like problematic now. Yeah.
progressive lady. But um,
Yeah. Real
and
homophobic.
a little transphobic too, if you ask me.
Very
Um,
good point. I don't think this
you
is
know
a good
what?
person. Have you considered not marrying?
Well, I'm starting to now because she's, I'm thinking she's doubting whether or not she's ever going to sleep with me
Uh huh.
again.
Uh
I
huh.
mean, we've slept together.
Not in God's eyes yet.
um, and so I was left with this conundrum. What do I do? Do I let do I just try and wait for the hair to grow back in an
Yeah.
uneven patch,
Yeah.
or do I shave the whole thing?
And then have the even regrowth. Yeah. And clearly you shaved it all off.
Here we go. That's why
Finally,
we're.
tits out on the podcast.
I
Oh,
don't
that's
like this.
that's a smooth chest.
It's smooth. It's
It's
weird.
weird. It is weird. And I don't
It's
even look
very
at your
weird.
chest very much, but it's not how I picture your body.
You know,
It's a little bit Ken. It is a little bit Ken.
it's weird because, well, it kind of makes my nipples look wider for some reason. Like it's optical illusion, but it's like
Because there's
I was
like
like, why? Why
all
do
of a
my
sudden there's
nipples
just
look
this
like that?
vacuum between the two of them and the distance. It just
Yeah,
looks so much bigger.
it's strange, but I didn't know how much of my self identity or my self image was tied up in my body hair. I'd never even thought about it, never
Yeah.
considered it.
Yeah.
So now I'm having an identity crisis. I'm like a no body hair guy. It's weird.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, as someone who's, obsessed with their own body image, like how do
Yeah.
you kind of, think of your body hair in relation to that?
Well, for me, it's more the other way because, like, growing up, like, I definitely didn't have body hair. Like, I was not a hairy, like, teen through puberty. I definitely couldn't grow, like, a beard or anything like that.
Mm.
Maybe had the tiniest little sort of, like, treasure trail, maybe? But that was about it.
Don't call it treasure trail, Nick.
Well, that's what the name
What's
is.
what's the treasure?
Well,
Your
it's
penis.
penis treasure, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was sort of self-evident, wasn't it?
I wanted you to say it.
Well, I'm happy to talk about the treasure that is my dick. So yeah, this isn't anything but your own self-consciousness.
Gonna send your mum this episode.
Good luck getting her to listen.
Listen to this one, Philippa. This is a
Okay.
good one to listen to. Just this first 10 minutes.
So anyway, the point being that it was only like in uni when I went overseas for like travel for several months that I was like, I'm just gonna see what happens if I don't shave, see what happens if I
Yeah.
grow that beard. And
Mm.
it was only then that I started to get the sort of patchy beard thing, which thankfully over the subsequent years has now sort of evened out.
Yeah.
But with that has come like a little bit of chest hair. But honestly, if you were to be like, shave it off, you need to like have an ECG or whatever, and they shaved it off, I'd be like, look, there's not enough there that it really matters to me. It hasn't been it's like meeting a friend during uni and you like spend a lot of time together and then they go off somewhere great and you're like, I'm really happy for them. I hope the future's bright. And maybe
Okay.
we'll meet again someday.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, well, I'm cursed with having a gorgeous rug I guess. So I was going for a real Tom Selleck thing, and now I'm just like you said, I'm just Ken.
Michael,
Now I'm just a super hot porcelain man.
if there's anything you should take away, it's that society still rewards Ken at the expense of everyone else. So I wouldn't be too worried.
And thank God for that.
Welcome to Deep Thought, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here. Episode 221. If that's your lucky number out there, then this is your lucky episode. This is a podcast in which we just talk about important things back and forth a little bit until we've resolved the issue and made everyone's day, I'd say 5 to 7% better. Sitting through the internet with me this week, my friend, Michael. Hey.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Great to be on the Deep Thought podcast.
Finally, you've taken the intro seriously like I've always asked. My name is Nick. Hi. Hi, Nick. Hi.
So,
You've moved rooms. Are you feeling more settled in your house now? You got an office set up. You got a nice outlook there. You got a plant. You're looking.
This is the office.
Well, I'm asking.
This is the office. No, this is the office. Like, so I have moved into the office, and honestly, I have hijacked Lauren's office space. So she's got a desk with a monitor and a laptop riser, and it's a standing desk and a window. The window is
looks
already
very
there,
nice.
but it was good. It's good. It's not. I mean, I'm showing you the best part of the room. I'll say that. But it's nice. It's coming together. The house is coming together. I spent, we're both working from home, so you got that thing where, if we're both in meetings at the same time, what do you do? I'm just I'll just happily do it on the sofa and kind of stare out the window. But the house is coming together. It's okay.
You're both working from home, so you're able to do it 24/7 from home?
I'm doing 4 days in, and she's doing 2 or 3 days in.
Okay, right.
Sorry. 4 days working from home. That was.
Oh, right. Yeah, 4 days out.
Yeah, 4 days. I'm lost in this analogy now.
in the office is the classic way to think about it, right?
I should say that, but like out is like you're not out at home, It's very.
Sure. I see actually with the linguistic minefield we've walked into here. I think we should spend another 5 more minutes talking this through.
You wanted a theme, buddy. We got a theme right off the bat.
Great.
4 days. I'm 4 days working from home, and she's 2 days working from home. So it's not actually that big of a deal.
Okay.
But yeah, no, how's it coming together? Doing okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, thank you. I'm sort of in a little bit of a work role at the moment. Like I said on our last podcast, we're putting in a show prop at the moment, so there's been a bit of work for that, which is going well. And
cool.
Yeah, about a week left until that has to all be in. So we're on track, which is good.
Love that. Love to hear that.
Otherwise,
keeping busy. How's Casey? I never ask about Casey.
You never do. No, he's pretty well, and weirdly, he never asked about you either. So maybe it was reciprocal. But
that's fucked up.
It is fucked up, right?
I'm special.
It's better. Maybe I should have a word to him. I said, he was really upset to know that you hadn't asked about him in a while.
Do it off mic.
Okay, I'll do it off mic. Yeah. But he's well. He's at the gym at the moment, and we're gonna go do for like a hike on the weekend. So thank you for peeking behind the curtain here. We're recording a little bit early this week.
Little Thursday night pod. I quite like this time slot. It's a bit tricky for us because it's dinner time for both of us, really. It's 6 p.m. my time, 8 p.m. your time.
You have it worse.
But I don't know. I think it's kind of better. I think I'm like on like we'll wait and see, but I think that's where my brain's firing a bit better. It's like
so you're in fight or flight mode, and you're like, I need food. I'm scavenging. I'm looking out. I'm alert. I'm watching. I'm ready with my zingers.
Well, I was a bit peckish before, and then I went out and grabbed some crackers. The brand was called Peckish. I thought that was pretty neat. That's what I am. The brand is what I am.
So this was the evidence that you were switched on and ready for a great pod.
We got plenty more of these.
Okay, great. All right. Well, let's not dawdle then. If you've got stories or topics or things, fire away.
I will fire away. I got a couple of dinner fiascos that I've had.
Oh,
and these are short and sweet, but I know you love a good dinner fiasco.
I love a DF.
Now, hey, all right. So the first one is a kind of mini fiasco.
Okay.
Um,
Is
and this is kind of
just floating up the top. Is this myths? Are we in myth territory?
no. Well, no.
I got a myth. But that's right. I'll throw it on at the
You
end.
gonna miff me at the end? It felt very odd coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, you've already been shaved by a man today.
Oh boy. All right. Where was I? Oh, a bit flustered.
You had a mini dinner fiasco.
Yeah, think of it as an entree. Yeah, so I got invited to dinner with a friend, as well, the other day, and we're kind of like a little bit cautious about stepping back into the social scene. Yeah, since being back, it's
You
been
and Lauren, you mean?
surprising. Me and Lauren, sorry. Yeah, we've been a little bit like, we want to take it slow because it feels like, I think I said it maybe last week, that it's like taking like a cold shower, like a social ice bath or something.
Yeah.
So we got invited to a dinner,
Uh-huh.
a birthday dinner.
Nice.
It wasn't our birthday; it was our friend's birthday.
I get it. I know when your birthdays are.
We got invited on Tuesday, so late booking Tuesday night. It's kind of a late idea, and then we confirmed Tuesday night for a Thursday evening dinner at 7 p.m.
Fast turnaround.
On the Thursday, I'm talking to the host.
Yeah,
the birthday Thursday morning, birthday boy, and he happens to mention that there's 30 people going. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Oh, different
in my
kind
head,
of party.
it was maybe a 7 to 10, and now it's a 30.
Oh,
so already we're like, okay. But then it turned out that we had to actually, help Lauren's parents kind of move. So I had to tell him that we couldn't make it at 5 p.m.
Right.
So 2 hours before the booking, and he said that, that's, he was very nice about it, totally fine.
Yeah.
And I kind of offered, if they have a cancellation, let me know, and we'll pay. Thinking, maybe $10 or whatever.
Right.
Cut to the next morning, get a text. Hey, they've charged us $45 a head for everyone that didn't come.
Oh, what is this place? What?
Brutal.
What is the?
It's not even fancy. It's like a noodle place.
Oh, but like a funky modern twist on noodles. Like it's not
No.
it's not like a Chinatown
it is. It's maybe in between those two. It's in a trendy area,
right?
But it's traditional.
Oh, $45 a head. I guess they booked 30 though, right?
So I think what happened was they thought, all right, 30 people here. You're just going to do the banquet.
Yeah.
Option.
Yeah.
I assume there's a banquet
we'll cook
option.
For 30 people.
And they cooked for 30. But I did think it was a bit rich. But to be fair to the birthday boy, he did say just flick me 45 for one person. Yeah. I think he wore it. He had a few other cancellations. So anyway,
that's tough though.
It's tough. It hurts. It hurts that because you don't get.
Do you think, being completely honest with yourself, that the idea for the dinner was created on Tuesday night and you were invited on Tuesday night? Or, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, had there been a cancellation and you had been added in because 30 people on the bill is a hell of a price to pay?
So I don't know, potentially. I mean, this is a very popular, or at least very social person.
So,
I don't know. I mean, look, I would probably say that we were a last minute but I know
if it's who I think it is, then they know you. They're like that.
I would think I'm pretty high up on the rotation, but I mean, there's a large pool there. Yeah. Anyway, this is the entree, Nick.
Okay.
So we copped the 40.
You took the hit.
I paid 45 for a meal that we didn't have.
Yeah.
Paid for one. Hurts, but also, we did cancel late, so that's on us.
Yeah.
So the other dinner fiasco that I had just on last Friday was we're going out to dinner. So Lauren's friends live kind of about an hour outside of Melbourne. So they have a kid. They don't maybe get out much. Very nice house. But they were like, come our way, take the train, spend the night, and we'll do something for dinner. We're like, yeah, that sounds nice. It'll be a cheap night in. Then on the day of, they're like, do you want to do you want us to do a barbecue, or do you want to go out for dinner down the road? And we're like, oh, whatever's easiest for you. You've got a kid, It's
Yeah,
like we don't
we're
want them
easy.
to have to cook, even if it's a barbecue. We just look,
Yeah.
you choose, we'll do that. So they're like, oh, we'll just go to the pub down the road. We're like, easy, cool, let's do that. So you get to the house, have a few drinks. The pub is like a minute walk away. So we're like, this is smooth sailing. We get there, and right off the bat, but this couple is pretty well off, right? They're making a little bit of coin,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Very nice house.
And how would Inspector Gadget say that?
So we get there, and right off the bat, the dad, very nice guy, orders 4 margaritas for the table, right? So it's a double date plus a 3-year-old. So I'm assuming the 3-year-old isn't. But he did one of these things. He was like, the waitress comes over and he goes, "Can we get 4 margaritas?" Now I haven't.
This is unprompted.
This is just like taking control. This is my
Oh.
place. This is my local. I know what I'm
Oh.
doing here. And
Everyone
then
here
she
is
goes-
going to want a margarita, so I will
So-
order for everyone.
And I kind of did it like okay. Like,
Do you
not
like a margarita?
overtly.
Will you drink a margarita?
I'll drink a margarita, but like I probably wouldn't have ordered a margarita.
No.
And then it kind of does the the margaritas here are great. You guys want one? I'm like, yeah, of course. Like,
Mate, you've already decided. It's too late for the double checking.
Yeah. So we get that, and then they go. This couple has been there many times before, and they're like, we just get the share platter. We like it's just easy. It's simple. You get a bit of taste of everything. And we're like, cool. Let's do that. What? Like, you guys take the lead.
What are we looking at here? What's on the platter?
This is This is interesting. It's Argentinian
Argentinian platter. Local pub.
So we're talking chicken, we're talking steak, we're talking potatoes, chimichurri at the wazoo.
Nice. Yeah.
Dude, the food was spectacular. Let me say that.
Mama, yeah.
Yeah, that's Vietnamese, I believe, but you get the idea. And the food was incredible. Dessert, I didn't stake on the margaritas. Just had beers after that, right?
Yeah.
We get the bill, and this is on a public holiday too. We get the bill, and the dad. Let's call him the dad, Lauren's friend.
The patriarch.
He looks at the bill. I'll say that. Looks at the bill, and goes, "Ooh, that stings a little." And we're like, "Oh, what are we up for here?" Lauren and I are looking at each other. We just come back from living overseas.
Let's do this mental picture here. So you've had 4 mugs, you've all had a few drinks, maybe a couple of wines there afterwards. You've had a share platter for 4 on a public holiday, slightly rural hotel pub. We're in the 500, right? 4 to 5?
Higher.
Oh, tell me.
$660.
No fucking way. $660
for a casual dinner. It was
$660. What the fuck were they making it from?
It was like 10% surcharge as well, which itself
even
was
so,
like,
that's $600 without the surcharge.
I know, dude. It was brutal.
What was it?
It was the share platter and the.
But how much is a share platter?
Share platter's like $80.
That doesn't sound like enough.
Well, maybe the share platter was more.
Bill? Like, was it all
got the.
right?
Well, they gave us the bill because we had to because then you had that thing, because there was the other thing of there were some people ordering, and not us, ordering more margaritas than pints and stuff, and then we were like,
we're $25 extra a cocktail.
Yeah, and then but we're also staying the night, and now it's so we're just let's just split it, and it was heavily implied that we would split it. So we had it was just we just copped it. So it was a very
rough.
By the way, those two things happened within a week of each other.
Fuck.
So we've been eating cans of tuna for the
$700 on
last
food, only one of
two.
which meal you went to.
It was rough.
Jeez,
Let me tell you that.
I think that falls properly in myth territory. That's not a that's not a good outcome for anyone.
No, it was tough, but I was trying to focus. I mean, Lauren's a bit more of a penny pincher than I am. She hates wasting money.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just trying to. I mean, I like to for if it's a great food experience, which it actually kind of was.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we don't do this often. This is what I'm kind of justifying justifying to myself as well as to her.
Of course.
It was like we don't go out that much. We've been eating 50-cent.
I was going to say the
dinners
contrast to what you've just had. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So there was that. And it was like, okay, well, we can write this off and just kind of like, it does, if you do actually kind of compensate for it, you can kind of even it out over because at the end of the day, $160, $70 each, which is what it was. In the long run, you're not going to really. Remember that.
Yeah, it's not like a $20,000 car or one of those things where you're thinking about 10 years worth of like investment and all of these other levels to it. Like you have a nice night and you remember the nice night and you get a story out of it.
You have memories and you get content.
I mean,
ultimately.
I am, which is all that we're after. I am, food and drink is probably my biggest indulgence. Like that's legitimately the only thing I really spend money on. I'll buy, books, I'll buy movie tickets, I'll buy games. But beyond that, like I don't even drink that crazily. But I will. I'm enough of a snob that when I go out to, catch up with friends, go out for dinner, I want to go to a place that I'm going to have a nice meal at. And I like spending the money to that. That means something to me. And I will
I'm so with you on this. Like spending money on food and even drinks if it's like at a nice wine or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I do actually value that so highly.
I will happily declare myself a wanker or a food snob or something. I like a good coffee. I like a good meal out. But that's my only real like indulgence. I'm happy for that to be the thing that I'm a snob about. That's okay.
And if you have kids, they can just go to public school and
that's fine.
Learn the hard way.
That's fine. I mean, it's all the same till year 6 anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to send me a few dollars, I've got my up account. You can just pay ID me. Yeah. Nick will put it in the chapter notes.
I'll put it in the chapter. Yeah.
But yeah. Anything you can afford, just send it our way.
Well, look, just because we're sort of in a grouch mood, I will accept that yours weren't necessarily myths. I got one myth to throw in here, and it came out
myth
today.
On my face, big fella.
I don't like the way that this podcast is going.
Myth all over my smooth
Stop.
Dolphin chest.
Stop. Alrighty, moving swiftly along. I got one quick little one here that look, I get it, it's that time of year, there's Cupid in the air and romance is coming, 14th of February is just around the corner and everyone's starting to look in the eyes of their beloved and thinking about what to do. But let's not call it V-Day, guys. We don't have to call it. We don't have to call it V-Day. It's not that hard to say Valentine's Day. We don't. No. This is unnecessary. It's not cool. It's not more fun to say. It's just weird.
You know what it suggests? It suggests someone who thinks about V-Day a lot.
Yeah. It's real.
You're too comfortable with it.
It's incel energy is what it is. It comes across as like someone who's not really confident about themselves and overcompensating, with this really unsettling interest.
You went for incel. I was thinking more like the girl at the office is like, so you're doing anything for Valentine's Day?
Okay, I
You
can
know,
hear that as well.
like that
I
that
don't
kind
like
of
that
like
person either.
the girl that's just like, oh, I'm so single. Like it will just be like very open about how single she is.
Yeah. We don't
I
need
bet
to do this. We don't
she
need
I
to abbreviate this. The
no.
the most recent I've been watching Monarch, which is it's a bad TV show, but it's the Godzilla TV show. And they talk about the day that Godzilla came and they call it G Day. No, don't do that. People talking about their B Day.
Yeah.
Guys, we don't need to. You're riffing. Do you
B-Day.
know what you're riffing on? You're riffing on D Day, the Normandy invasion. We need to set some boundaries. We need to set some boundaries because this is about a war and it can't be about your dick.
Well, that is interesting because D-Day, B-Day, V-Day, they all kind of rhyme.
Yes, Michael, that's what I was getting at.
So it is kind of riffing on D-Day. I just literally just said your point back to you.
Yeah, you did. I mean, are there other days that we should be watching? Is P Day around the corner for St. Paddy's? What are you doing for St. P Day?
C Day for Christmas?
C Day. It's too much.
E Day for Easter.
Oh, fuck.
Wow.
Don't give all these people ideas because soon it's going to be inescapable.
Well, let me riff on that myth real quick while I got you in terms of shortening, because I just saw that on my notes that I got something written down here. I've just started a new job.
Okay.
And I swear we've brought this up before, but people who I've met once have just started calling me Mike.
Yeah.
And I just think, look, I just think it's a bit of a stretch to go from Michael to Mike because you're just kind of inventing letters because my K doesn't exist in my name.
Yeah,
and it's kind of
but yeah.
Well, I mean, they're not shortening from Zabrecki.
All I'm saying is they might have just struggled to spell your last name and a K slipped up front where it wasn't meant to.
Okay, but it just kind of feels like someone's come into your house and started rearranging the furniture. It's like. Or even just bringing their own furniture into your house, and it's kind of the same. Like it's like with Matt or Brad, Matthew, Matt, Brad, Bradley. I mean, the letters are there. I get it, right? I guess Nick is kind of the outlier because there's no K in that either. But it just feels
you can
like...
sort of, if you fuck up an H a bit, it sort of looks like a K. Like you're halfway there.
It's like Cyrillic or something.
Yeah,
and also Nick is in Nicholas.
Correct.
So, but there's no Mike. Oh, actually, there is. Anyway,
we can delete that bit if you don't like the fact that it disproves your point.
Just bleep it. Just bleep that out
straight through.
But anyway, just at least ask. Like, just at least ask. And I'm not talking even verbally. I'm talking emails.
Yeah.
Like, I'll email someone, sign it off, Michael, and they'll be like, "Hey, Mike," and I'm like, "Well,
that's
okay,
not me.
I guess I'm Mike."
Then you never have to reply to that person though, because they haven't addressed it to you.
Yeah. She's like, "Why haven't you replied to my email?" Like, I didn't realize
you sent that
that's
to
me.
Mike. Yeah. My name's Michael.
Yes, that's the most passive-aggressive way.
That's a good power move. That's a pretty good power
good.
move.
That's good. It's very embarrassing for the other person as well.
Yeah. Oh, you mean a totally different person to me? Oh, no. I'm Michael. Sorry if I wasn't clear, but that's not my name.
That's not bad, Nick.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Look, I think as for both of us, our names sort of look like someone dropped a Scrabble board on the ground. So I'm sort of used to people fucking up names, Like,
Do you mean our last name?
Yeah, both of us. There's shit going on there that defies explanation.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that hard, to be honest. I don't think it's that hard. I don't think Shadell's hard. I don't think Zabrecki's hard.
You think pronouncing it is hard, apparently.
Also, I feel like I make an effort with people not remembering people's names, but at least like spelling them or trying to pronounce them. I had a meeting the other day.
Wait. How does that make any sense? You make an effort, but you can't remember the name. Just
I was
spelling
getting to
it.
I was getting to it. No, but pronouncing it. I was in a meeting the other day, and it was like a Zimbabwean lady, and I I went onto Google and I typed in the name, and I literally practiced for 5 minutes how to say it,
That's
and then I was hoping to
good.
blow her mind,
Yeah.
and then I said it, and I literally I nailed it, Nick. I nailed
Yeah.
it, and this is like a long name. This has got
Yeah.
like 7 syllables in it,
Wow.
and I was like, oh hey, I can't remember what it was because I can't remember names, but she didn't blink an eye. She was like, oh hey Mike. I was like, I just spent 7 minutes just trying to practice your name in a
Oh, and you
language I
want a
don't
fucking
speak.
medal? Oh, this generation always wanting prizes for shit.
Look at there's the white savior coming again.
Oh,
Anyway,
boy. Good time.
good time, good energy on this pod.
Good
This is
energy.
the 6 p.m. Good 6 p.m. energy.
Yeah, and you got a beer in hand, which is probably helping.
Yeah.
This is my drinking a rose tea energy. I don't know if you've been wondering why I'm so excited.
You can call it a rosé if you want. What's that say on your mug there, Nick? I was trying to read it before.
This is going to take so much explanation.
Fish. Where's the juice in that? Fish. Where's the juice in that?
Okay.
Some nerd reference, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not actually. This is just going to take this is a long walk. But we've started, we've been dropped in the wilderness, and now we have to get our way back to civilization. So you've done this to yourself. So this, so one of my careers is as a proofreader, and I have worked for a few years on video games, which involves being sent large spreadsheets of text that have been written by people overseas that need to be corrected, amended, finalized, and then re-imported into the game. That's the proofreading job. And on one of the most recent games I had, they had actually hired a different English proofreader because I was unavailable due to other work obligations. So they had to find someone to fill in. Then they got to a point where they're like, we're having some issues here. Can you tell us? They just flicked out of the blue a message to say, hey, can you just double check a couple of these lines for us? So we opened up this spreadsheet and I started to find, like I was scrolling to the rows that they'd identified that they needed checked. But as I was doing, I was reading all of what was there, not just the 7 rows or whatever, but the thousands of rows of text. And as I did, I was like, oh, shit. Oh, God. The work that had been done by an English proofreader was real sketchy. real forced and like in that way of like trying to sound smart by like putting a word into a thesaurus and then picking another word and throwing it back into the original sentence, but you don't really know the word that you're using, so it just sounds like someone who's looked into a thesaurus.
I'm familiar with this technique.
I'm sorry, I'm describing what you do back to me. The point being that I looked at all this and I was like, oh, I think there's a bit more of a problem here than just these 5 lines that we looked at. And so I took over the job. I redid the English proofread again. And one of the strange little joys of that job was working through this document and finding stuff that just didn't make any sense. Any way that I tried to read it, understand it in context, out of context, historically, like we're talking in a period piece, so I was trying to see if there was like old slang that it was referring to or anything like this. I couldn't do it. Some of them just didn't make any sense. And I started to share them around to people and just have a laugh because it was just bizarre. One of those phrases was fish, comma, where's the juice in this?
That's amazing.
It's just I've thought about this sentence for literally over a year now. I still think about it. I don't know what it's meant to mean, and I don't know what it does. But my sister knew that, and she, for Christmas a year and a bit ago, printed that phrase up onto a mug for me and gave it to me,
which was very nice.
One of the most delightful gifts I've ever been given. So I have a cup now, which I love, which says "Fish, where's the juice in that?" It's delightful.
Yeah, episode title. There you go.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe we do. Now, on to slightly less nonsensical stuff. I thought I've had two separate stories here, which actually are now kind of related. So I thought you might like to talk about pedestrians and jaywalking.
You literally read my mind, Nick.
Is it because I
Literally
told
read my
you
mind.
earlier today that that's what I was going to talk about, and you said, "Oh,
I'm just. No, I was already thinking about jaywalking, and then you were just like, "Hey, what about jaywalking?" I was like,
well,
"Yo, fuck, he's nailed it again."
this guy really knows what he's doing."
First
Okay.
patents and now jaywalking.
I mean,
How does he do it?
2024, 2024 is off to a
Get out of my
crushing
mind,
start.
Nick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, we'll see what happens. So the first of these articles here is actually a slightly old Vox article about the history of jaywalking. Tell me up front here, Michael, what you know about jaywalking and what you think this crime is or why it might have started.
All right, I'm a big jaywalker myself. I like to think I'm an adult. I can cross the street. Don't need an adult or the police to tell me when or when not to cross the street. I do understand that there are social rules in place. If everyone started jaywalking, if it was a free for all like it is in fucking Southeast Asia, it's kind of chaos. So I get why it's there, but also I feel like I'm different to everyone else and the rules don't apply to me. So I jaywalk myself a lot. I get annoyed when other people do it. When I'm in the car, for example, and I see a jaywalker, I'm like, hey, look at this fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. Just thinks
What's
the
he
rules
doing?
don't apply to him.
Yeah.
But how did it start? I don't know. It's probably something to do with racism or something, wasn't it?
I mean, it's a pretty good guess. But tell me, what is jaywalking? Define it for me. What do you think? What is jaywalking?
Jaywalking is when you cross the street when there's no green man or woman.
Thank you. You're so woke. Green person. We don't actually know anything about their gender.
I wish I didn't giggle at the end of that.
Yes, jaywalking is crossing or walking the street or like a road unlawfully or without regard for approaching traffic. Jaywalking, interestingly, from a colloquial sense in the early 20th century, meaning a silly person and walk. So a jay was a silly person. Jaywalking is walking like a silly person. Isn't that sort of delightful?
That's fun.
Alrighty. So in this Vox article here, it runs through the history of jaywalking and actually how it came about because of car manufacturers.
Oh,
so
tell me everything.
100 years ago, if you were a pedestrian, you'd just walk across the street. But of course, today, if there's traffic in the area you want to follow the law, you need to find a crosswalk. And if there's a traffic light, you need to wait for it to change to green. To most people, this seems part of the basic nature of roads, but it's actually the result of an aggressive, forgotten 1920s campaign led by auto groups and manufacturers that redefined who owned city streets. In the early days of the automobile, it was the driver's job to avoid you, not your job to avoid them, says a historian at the University of Virginia and the author of Fighting Traffic, the Dawn of the Motor Age in the American City. But under the new model, streets became a place for cars, and as a pedestrian, it's your fault if you get hit. One of the keys to this shift was the creation of the crime of jaywalking, and it runs through this history. This is an interesting article. I'll put it here in the chapter notes here, so I'll go and have a read for it. You know your Vox documents; they're always good. But of course, think about this like in a historical sense. So prior to the 1920s, city streets were considered a public space. They were a place for pedestrians, for pushcart vendors, for horse-drawn vehicles, for like trams and kids at play, that sort of thing. Pedestrians would just wander in the streets anywhere they wanted, whenever they wanted, usually without looking. It's like all that old black and white footage where you like see all those people like just crisscrossing around and everyone else has to avoid them, right?
Yeah.
But then cars started to, get introduced to the country and to the world. And as they began to spread widely, the consequence of that was pretty obvious: death. People kept being hit by cars and dying. They were most normally pedestrians, not the drivers, and that disproportionately were elderly and children, which had previously been able to just run around in the streets. And so the public response to this was outrage. Automobiles were actually seen as frivolous playthings, sort of like you would have a yacht today. They were considered pleasure cars, an indulgence. And they were like these violent intruders that were coming into these public spaces and, taking over what was once for everyone.
Yeah.
So before any sort of formal traffic laws were put in place, judges typically ruled that in any collision, the larger vehicle, that is often the car, was to blame. In most pedestrian deaths, the drivers were charged with manslaughter, regardless of the circumstances of the accident.
Wow.
So then deaths were mounting. Anti-car activists were trying to slow them down. People were saying you should cap it with mechanically cap every car with a top speed. And then there was this turning point when in Cincinnati, residents signed a petition for a ballot initiative that would require all cars to have a governor limit them to 25 miles an hour. The local auto dealers were terrified. They were like, oh, fuck, this is going to kill our business. They sprang into action and did this big ballot and campaign and everything, sending letters to other car owners and taking out advertisements against the proposal. And the proposal failed. So that then galvanized all these auto clubs, all these car owners, rich people, of course, all across the nation, showed them that if they weren't proactive with this, all of a sudden sales were going to go down, your rights were going to be limited, this the other. And so they all worked together to redefine the street and prevent pedestrians from being able to walk wherever they'd like.
Yeah, interesting.
So part of this, again, I won't go too much further into it, but part of it was an idea of shaming jaywalkers. So they would start to produce this sort of little propaganda ads and cartoons and things, and make the people who are seen to cross the road dangerously the bad guys instead of the car owners. And they would try and shape the news coverage of car accidents so that it wasn't the driver's fault, it was the pedestrian, and that they should actually be following these new laws and everything.
Huh. That is very interesting, actually. It's kind of analogous to the weed cannabis propaganda. It seemed like to me, people were trying to demonize weed as being, psychotic or something. It's it's shaming.
It's literally
certain...
victim blaming, right? All these people are being hit by cars, and they're like, "Well, that's your fault for being in the way of my vehicle."
Also, it's kind of a bold stance. It's I don't know, if we have Instagram and Facebook, and we seem like these are new to society. These are new things. We don't know how to kind of deal with them yet. And yes, it's been 10, 15 years since we've had Facebook and Instagram and blah blah blah. But we're also quickly holding them to account and going, hey, this is actually kind of fucking up our kids, whatever. It's kind of bold to me to think that cars get introduced, people are just like, wait, what the fuck? There's a fucking flying machine going through the air,
speeding through,
and then everyone's like, no, you really need to look out for those flying machines. Well, I haven't really had a chance.
Particularly if you're a child and you've just been running around like you've always done, and then all of a sudden there's cars around. The thing about the J, just to go back to that start, J meant a rube or a hick, a bogan almost, someone who didn't know how to behave in the city. So these auto groups, these pro-car campaigns started using this word jaywalker as in an idiot who doesn't know how to work in the city, who threatened public safety. At first, this was seen as offensive or shocking, and pedestrians fired back, and they called dangerous drivers J driving.
Oh, that's
J
fun.
driving.
Hey, you're
a J.
You think I'm not silly? You're silly.
Yeah, I know you are, but what am I? But the word caught on. Jaywalking caught on, and it became a one-word thing. It was 2 words originally, and then safety organizations and the police and laws and everything became the formal. They took it on formally.
Yeah, they built it into law.
Yeah, and the campaign was so extremely successful that people don't even realize that the opposite was once true, that the roads used to be a place you just go wandering around in.
Do you ever think, I always wonder about roads. Roads define cities. They define the land. They not the landscape, but they. I always wonder about the roads go so they're very long. Some roads are very long.
Go on.
when you go for a drive, Melbourne to Adelaide, say you drive from Melbourne to Adelaide. You ever think this is so far to be building a road. Like people have built this road,
Yeah.
and it's quite
And there's
vast.
nothing around. I mean, it is actually a marvel of civilization. It is
It is.
truly revolutionary. The
Yes.
the I mean, again, talking in an American context, but like the 60s when people were all starting to have, like, you'd have a family car and everything, and they had this huge rollout. I suppose this was everywhere because it was probably all the same industry at the same time. But the connection of places via highways and
Yeah.
infrastructure is a dramatic change to how society existed, because all of a sudden the places that were literally hours, days, weeks away become minutes, hours, days away. And everything is so much closer, not just people, but supplies, resources, everything.
Yeah.
Like that infrastructure utterly changed the world that we live in. And you just
Yeah.
take it for granted.
I love looking at those then and now photos,
Yeah.
like you see like Unley Road in Adelaide, in the 1910s, and
Yeah.
it's still a road, but it's a road for very different purposes. It's a road for horses and
Yeah.
and I guess pedestrians to some degree, but then we still use that road. We build on that road. Then
Yeah.
we build a road for cars. We build bitumen. It's like they if you zoomed up, if you went up in a plane and looked at especially like a rural town, like you'd see the I guess now they'll have like the pharmacists will build on the road, but like I guess back then you probably only have one pharmacist and you only have one doctor and you only have one bank, and the road will go to those things. That's
The
probably not how it works, is it? They build the road and then they get I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's a gigantic influence on the shape of the place that and how it becomes, right? And
Yeah,
sometimes roads are defined by the geography underneath, and sometimes they defy the geography. Like, how
sure.
amazing is, building a bridge over a fucking ravine, or like tunneling through a mountain so that you can drive the
Yeah.
short way. Like, we really have wrapped this entire planet in roads, to an extent
Yes.
that's like hard to even, like, wrap your head around. Like, how many square kilometers of bitumen is there on this planet? Like,
And
billions.
how long does it take, per meter to build it? Like I've seen them doing that,
Yeah.
or laying bitumen over bitumen, and it seems like a pretty slow process. Like
And
that's amazing.
what's the economic, cost of that? What is the environmental cost of grinding up all this shit and putting it down? I mean, we know that it, like, tires disintegrate on this road and then they get washed into the water, and we have
Mm,
fucking nanoparticles of plastic everywhere. What
mm.
is the environmental cost of a surface that absorbs heat? Like, we have these
Very very
gigantic
hot.
black
They're very
strip.
hot.
They famously, heat waves
Very
coming
hot.
off them. Um,
Oh yeah.
and it is gigantic. So, like, there is some actual data here that I googled. So roads occupy 40,000 square kilometers of area in the US, which is about 0.4% of the land. 83% of the United States is within 1 kilometer of a road. Like, we've
Wow.
literally paved the earth.
Is it weird as well that, when you walk, I'm thinking about like not just roads but paths. You think that we're so attuned to walking on a path. Like if you're walking on the road, right? You say you're walking on a highway in the outback, and then you think I could walk into the outback, into the bush,
Yeah,
even if it's not that dense.
yeah.
Like it seems so it seems so like your brain kind of will stop you from doing that. It's like this is the path that
This is
you
where
go on.
safety is. Yeah,
It's like if you veer off the path, and roads are paths.
yeah.
If you veer off the path, then that's where it's dangerous.
A road
Like
will
you've
take
got
you
that somewhere in your
somewhere,
brain.
but a path is safety, and no path is not, right? Like, that's animal instinct. You're
Yeah.
saying it. Yeah.
But that's how we evolved for millions of years. We didn't have roads. We didn't have paths. We just had the landscape.
Yeah.
So it's weird that we've evolved this kind of trait. But I guess it's like a sheep thing. It's like you follow the pack. And essentially roads are you following the pack.
Yeah. But
We're getting
also
so deep on roads. I
I
love it.
love it. I'm so here for it. I mean,
Philosophical.
but that's that animal instinct is correct, right? Like in the same way that a flock of birds will fly in a V shape because the drag is easier, like a path that in ancient, pre civilized times, a path was an easier place to walk because the person before you had made it flat, had removed the obstacle, had been there before. Like it was an advantage to follow that because it meant that other people had been there first, that it was less effort to tramp down a meter of snow if someone else had walked through it beforehand.
And you can see that with like cows on a farm. Like if you see drone footage of cows on a farm, like they'll start to create their own path and then just follow that path again and again and again, and then reinforce the path.
Like when we were driving through real dairy country in New Zealand, of which there's a lot of, when we were there at the end of the night, you would watch all the cows come home in a line, and they would just follow each other down the road like in single file. So that clearly there is this long held sort of herd animal kind of instinct, right, where you walk down this road towards your destination. They're not all just like randomly milling around and like swarming everywhere.
Not to beat a dead horse, and we don't have to do this, but like planes have roads as well. Planes have their own. You look on Flight Radar 24, and planes are typically just going in following the same kinds of routes.
Yeah. The road thing of this article here talks about the fact that one estimate indicates that there are more than 2 billion parking places in the United States. 2 billion parking places, and there are 290 million cars in the US. So that's almost an entire factor, an order of magnitude larger in terms of empty spaces there, collectively amounting to 26,800 square kilometers of parking lots, which are just sitting there reflecting heat in the day. There's no trees on them. There's no like green benefit to it. They're just fucking death.
This is how
no water absorption.
Well, this is how we create the dystopia that we're headed for, is that when we start to mold our landscape to our needs or to our inventions, like parking spaces. They're just buildings that house machines that we have built in order for us to move. Yeah. But this is if you could follow this track down, you could follow this path, if I may,
very well done,
to this slippery slope. Who knows what who knows what we'll build in order just to satisfy our immediate needs now.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so like you can see the logic behind the modernization of these like ride sharing apps where it's like, what if no one owns a car and we all just share a pool? Because surely that's more efficient than all of us having the place to keep a thing that we use part of the time, right? Yeah. What if you had an automatic car that just disappeared during the day when you didn't need it and then reappeared when you did, and then no one has to have these extra 1.8 billion parking lots to save these units in for 20 hours a day when they're not being used.
Exactly.
You can see all the inefficiencies.
People are just buying, I need a car. I'll buy a new car because that's going to be more reliable. It's like, if everyone's just fucking buying new cars, like these need to go somewhere. Yeah. Like you don't need it. Everyone doesn't need a new car. There are so many cars.
Yeah. I mean, the flip side to that, of course, is that getting onto an electric car from a petrol car is probably a sensible choice, not just for your own hip pocket, but for the planet at large. But I hear you. You don't need to buy a brand new electric car either.
No. Well, I'm a hypocrite because we're in the process of buying a car and it's not electric and it's going to be new. So.
Are you really not buying an electric? You're buying a new car?
I'm buying a Subaru. Well, yeah.
Okay, well, If you'd like to elaborate
Don't
further, you're welcome to. But we could
no
just let that sort of hang there as well.
no just I don't do what I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, let me circle back around to the start of this because we talked about jaywalking and how public spaces used to be for everyone except cars. Let's revisit this now with the idea of traffic evaporation. There's an article by Dario Hidalgo entitled What Really Happens When Road Space is Reallocated from Cars. So let's look at this from the other direction. Road development throughout the 20th century was based primarily on the premise that more infrastructure eases traffic. But evidence shows that road building, instead of reducing congestion, actually increases traffic. When travel time by car is reduced and convenience is increased, coupled with the appeal of the private vehicle as a continued indicator of wealth and standing, people are inclined to make more car trips. A recent working paper by researchers from the University of Barcelona confirms that capacity expansion efforts over 2 decades led to more vehicle traffic, not less, and congestion was not relieved.
How about that?
A reverse effect to traffic generation is the phenomenon of traffic evaporation. That is, traffic that disappears when road space is reallocated from private vehicles to more sustainable modes of transport like walking, cycling, and public transportation. While traffic evaporation has been well documented for more than 20 years, most decision and opinion makers are still under the impression that reducing car lanes will make traffic worse. So in 2001, a paper was published reviewing 70 road space reallocation cases, including testimonials from 200 traffic engineers and planners in multiple countries. The researchers concluded that predictions of unbearable traffic as a result of reallocating space away from private vehicles were in most cases alarmist. People adjusted their behavior in ways that the traffic models did not accurately predict. When lanes were reassigned from car traffic to higher capacity modes like sidewalks, bike lanes, and bus or rail lanes, traffic issues were less severe than expected and traffic volumes significantly reduced. So, look, I'll pop this one here in the chat note as well. It's just been updated with this new link, so go and have a read. But it's interesting. It's somehow unintuitive, but it turns out that if you reduce that space and give people more easy to use pedestrian, public transport, other sort of aspects in and around your city spaces, people drive less, and so the traffic becomes better. So you don't need to keep adding lanes to make the situation improve. In fact, it will make it worse.
I love it.
So that's a little road package for today.
Jaywalking. You know what that makes us, Nick? Jaycasters.
We're just a couple of hicks that don't know how to podcast in a city.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, well, I'm glad. I feel like really satisfied by an infrastructure focused episode. I think that it had been overlooked for too long, so I'm glad that you agree. And if you'd like more of that exciting content, well, scroll down that feed because there's plenty of it. Other episodes, other ways to keep in touch. You could jump onto Facebook, you go onto Instagram, you could listen on Spotify, you can rate us 5 stars. We'd appreciate that. And of course, if you had questions, comments, or otherwise feedback that needed to be heard, send it to deepthought@gmail.com and we'll be sure to check it out. Do you have do you want a seggy?
I've got a couple of tidbits. Do you have anything?
A weird news? You got a weird news?
I do.
Yeah, I can do a weird news. I always feel like weird news don't hit reliably. Are you confident in this one?
Leave that in. That is so hurtful.
Well, I'm just saying that.
What do you mean?
I just do I get a laugh from it? I don't always get a laugh, you know?
All right. No, actually, you know what? I'm looking at the headline of this and I don't think you're going to laugh.
Okay.
I laughed. All right. Yeah, let's just do whatever you want to do.
You know, it's been roughly 16 weeks. Look, this is a rough estimate, but I think the time has come to really balance things out and tackle the other half of the equation here, Michael, with some Celebrity Bridesmaids.
Okay. Play the jingle.
Oh, I don't.
You don't have one.
No, do you want to sing me a jingle right now? I'll mute my end and you just produce a Celebrity Bridesmaid jingle right now. Here we go.
Celebrity Bridesmaids. Short and sweet.
okay. It's sort of it's punchy, but it's melodic. It's got a sort of a spaciness to it, which I like, to sort of resonance. Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
was going for.
I think when you finish that off and send me the final track, that'll be wonderful.
Okay, so now it's my problem.
Well, we'll see what happens. This was prompted by a really sort of important hypothetical that we had at the end of last year, which is that
Very
if you
important.
were getting married and you needed to fill out that wedding party with celebrities, who do you want? Who do you want there to do those important roles? You know, you've got a best man, you've got someone who's got a $3 weekend. You know, these are important things. But now, let's throw the floor open to the other side of the aisle here. Celebrity Bridesmaids. Who do we want, Michael?
Good question. Just Googling cool
Googling women.
Cool, funky women.
Cool, funky women.
All right. So we're just doing this off the top of the of the cranium.
This is unprepared.
This one just came to me, and I did just Google cool women, but she didn't come up. But
Okay.
I thought of it as I was doing it, and I'm gonna take her out because we can't have the same.
Is that the
bridesmaids,
rule?
Nick.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't. So I'm just gonna go first and take her out. Jennifer Lawrence. She's mine.
Shit. That's a
That's
really
a good one,
good
right?
call.
That's a really good one.
Shit, that's good.
She's sweet. She's actually, she might be a little too hot, but she's also got that kind
She's
of like
real down to earth.
she's so down to earth. So she's gonna like burp and fart. Like she's like a real guy's girl.
Damn it.
I know girls hate that term, but like Jennifer Lawrence.
Well, okay, fine. And
I know what yours is gonna be, by the way.
Okay.
I mean,
this is me being vindictive, right? So, because I'm assuming now that we've actually scheduled these weddings on the same night, so none of these people can turn up to both. That's poor planning from our part. But if you're gonna do that, then I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to get Tina Fey. I'm taking Fey out of here because what I really
you're
need.
gonna go wig. I thought you were gonna go wig.
Okay, that's still in the cards. But here's what I need Fey for. You need someone who's good with the speech, someone who can handle a crowd, who handle a drunk person, tell a couple of jokes, but she's not like fame hungry. She's not going to soak it all up. She's there to do a job. She's there to be light. She's keeping it moving. And Faye's done that at the Golden Globes like 3 times. Like she's just going to crush it.
She's going to crush.
She's going to
no
crush.
Question.
So I'm sorry, Faye is booked that night. You can't have her.
Okay, don't want her, to be honest.
Okay.
No, I do. She's lovely. She's incredible. I should just go polar, really.
I mean, it's.
But I won't.
I mean,
I won't.
to be fair, I won't have polar because I'm not gonna. They're too close. They're too close, and I don't. It's about me, right? And I feel like if it was them, it would be about them.
Yeah, it's interesting because we are actually in the process of kind of planning our wedding guest list.
Oh, is Faye coming? Tina,
we'll send an invite.
Okay, well, fine. Know. Yeah, you gotta try.
I'm not paying for her flights though.
No, sure.
All right. So, all right. Who else we got? Okay, now I got Lawrence. She's bringing a little sexy, but she's bringing a little down to earth.
Yeah.
A little funny. I feel like she'll put a few back as well, which I think we're looking for different things. I want someone who can party as well.
Yeah. But I needed that side of the evening arranged, right? I needed someone to just like get
your wedding's gonna be so fun, isn't it?
Well, you gotta have someone to keep things in order. Even if the rest goes off the rails, you need one person who you can trust. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Faye's your go-to bitch.
No, we're not going to use that take.
No, but if you're gay, you can say that word.
I don't think that's true either.
Is it not? I thought that's how it works.
No.
Okay. We'll go to woman.
Yeah.
If you prefer,
if that's
that
acceptable.
These days, cancel culture. Am I right? It's gone too far. I want a little gravitas.
Okay.
Kate Blanchett.
Oh, yeah. What's she going to be like in a party, though?
You know what? I think she's going to go along with Leslie and John very well.
Okay.
I think
so you've thought about it in terms of family dynamics.
I think she's going to get along with the family very well. She's a
Okay.
similar age. She's a little bit more elegant, I'll say, than my family. No offense, Mum, if you're listening.
I mean, I think we can all agree that Kate Blanchett is a god, and
She's an incredible. I've been watching a lot of Kate Blanchett interviews lately for no particular reason
okay.
apart from algorithm,
Sure.
but I'm there for it. I've been clicking on those YouTube videos,
Uh-huh.
and she is just the poise, the elegance, the sophistication. I'd like that at my wedding. I don't
But
think there's going
is
to be
she going
much
to
of
have a
it.
role? Like, what she is she
She's a
just there? Just
bridesmaid.
yeah, I know, but like, she's not maid of honor. She's not doing a speech. She's just sort of, she's just
Yeah,
one of the
okay.
party. Is that what you're getting
No,
at?
no. I see what you're getting. No, I've got a role for her right now.
Okay. She's going to
It's
be baking the cake.
it's mediator. It's mediator. So
Oh,
she's the kind of the
smart.
messenger, the go between of the families.
Yeah.
Is everyone okay? How, like, not that my parents and Lauren's parents won't get along, but like, Kate Blanchett is that, like, she's kind of a host. She's in host mode.
Yeah.
She's making sure everyone's had a good time. Everyone's got a drink.
Yeah.
And then everyone's also like, what the fuck, Kate Blanchett? Offered
I
me
know,
champagne.
but she'd be really cool about it though. Like she'd be
be so
really,
cool.
she'd be like so grateful. She wouldn't like make it about her.
Exactly.
She'd just sort
And she'll-
of float effortlessly through the space.
And you know that she'll do a bump with you in the bathroom.
she's probably, considered it in the past. And I don't think that's slander. I'm just, considering it. You can
Yeah.
think about these things. Okay. So
It's hard for the third one.
well,
You're on number 2.
I'm still on number 2. Let me just Google famous woman.
Yeah.
I think if you've taken Jennifer Lawrence, I think you want a little bit of that wild energy, and I wonder if what I need is like an Emma Stone.
Okay. Now, that's similar energy.
That's similar energy, but I think the same kind of groundedness, possibly a little bit less liable to like completely let loose, but she still seems like she'd be a fun person to hang around with.
Very fun.
And I think I got a feeling that she gets on with gay people. I think she's just like, she's an ally, and I think that she would be like a good bud to have in that sort of environment. In this
She
weird,
definitely does.
in this hypothetical wedding, I am still me getting married, and I've just employed only bridesmaids for the task.
And in this hypothetical, you're still gay?
I'm still gay. I'm not. I'm just saying that all of my friends are. All of my party is women this time around.
Side question, if you
Yeah.
could be gay, if you could make yourself again, would you be gay?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm so much better than everyone else. It is an unbelievable advantage.
But no, is that serious?
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, that's awesome that you said it.
Yeah, no.
Because I would
Imagine-
never be gay.
Can you imagine? Imagine being straight, though. I mean, imagine looking at another guy and just getting nothing. Just being
It's
like, you know what
definitely
I
overrated.
want? Women. That's my
Definitely
vibe.
overrated. Not
Yeah.
good.
What
I'm not. I think I'd be better as a gay person, to be honest.
I think, if you had to go over again, you might as well try. Give it
I
give
would.
it a crack. Pick between the two later.
Maybe next life I will be gay.
Maybe give it a no.
How about that?
Okay, good choice.
All right, number 3. I've
Yeah.
already got it.
Fran Drescher.
Now this is this bridesmaid is going to give my speech.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That's what you said.
I know. That's
Okay.
what I said it again as well.
Okay. All right. So I've got
Michelle
Jennifer
Obama.
Lawrence. I've got who was the second one?
Did you just see what your camera just put fucking balloons on the screen because
it?
you put the peace sign up?
Oh.
That was very surreal. Sorry.
What was, what was my number 2?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, of course.
Number 3 for my speech, and I think she's going to fit in nicely with the former 2.
Uh-huh.
Maria Bamford.
Fuck
She's a
you! Fuck you!
She's going to give
That was-
a knockout speech. And you know what?
I had it.
I know.
I had it in the pocket, Michael.
Did you-
I'd sent the invitation, and it hadn't arrived yet.
Was that going to be your third?
Legitimately, okay, but that's all right. That's
But
okay.
Nick,
I'm happy for you.
Nick, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It's you and me getting married. So they're all going to be there.
They're all there.
Gonna be there.
That's very sweet. I mean, that's a great call. That's a great.
Maria Bamford's going to give, and she's going to. I like to unsettle my parents a little bit from time to time, just like with with the things that I say, to the music that I put on. Every now and then I would just put on some just like really weird drone music and just wait to see what the reaction is. And that's kind of what I'm going for with Maria here. Yeah. I think she's going to be great. I think she's going to be sweet. She is a very sweet person, but she's also very funny and strange, and you have to really get on her level.
You have to be there, yeah.
You have to get on her level, and I want a little bit of like unsettled feeling in my wedding.
Yeah, that's a great call, and that's what I wanted her as well. But I think the same thing is true, right? We're looking for that little erratic edge. I think you have a what's her name? The woman from SNL who was in Ghostbusters and and what's her face? It was Weird Barbie.
Lesbian.
Shit! Why is her name evaporating from me?
It's not Cecily Strong. I'm gonna kill myself.
Kate McKinnon. Kate McKinnon. That's I was looking at a Kate McKinnon. I was considering like a Jane Krakowski. Like a Maria Bamford is a good call.
Little Michelle Wolf.
A little Michelle Wolf is a fun one. I think the possibility of like a Julia Louis-Dreyfus interesting. Someone dancing on the
that's
someone
your
can dance.
That's your gravitas.
That's gravitas.
And that's
and
gravitas.
A good dance.
That's dance. That. She's feeling a Kate Blanchett. Right.
That is, but I think I'm going to go a slightly different direction here, and I'm also well aware that we're only listing white women, but I can't. I just can't. If I'm getting married and I'm inviting celebrities, I cannot go past Jennifer Coolidge. I cannot not have Jennifer Coolidge at my wedding, a gay wedding with an absolute space cadet who's a completely loopy, crazy person, but unbelievable fun. She's going to be dancing. She's going to be there for the gays, unless they're trying to kill her. I can't pass her up.
That is inspired, Nick. That's a beautiful choice.
So
love the Coolidge.
So my bridesmaids, my celebrity bridesmaids, to recap: Tina Fey, Emma Stone, Jennifer Coolidge.
And I got Maria Bamford, Kate Blanchett, and Jennifer Lawrence. 2 Jennifers.
Yeah. What an incredible wedding we're gonna have together.
And I'm just gonna throw in Oprah as well. And of course Oprah. Yeah, sorry, we should have said Oprah was officiating. So we're not racist. Oprah was completely in charge of the whole thing. She's actually more important than the rest of us. She's the celebrant.
And Whoopi Goldberg was the DJ. So that.
And I love that all the black women that we know existed picked in the 90s.
Well, you mentioned Michelle Wolf. Yeah. Oh fuck! And the other one who was in the mix, and I did consider this for a while. The other one who was in the mix for my loopy, Amy Sedaris. Amy Sedaris would also have been very fun, but Jennifer Coolidge.
That's great. Yeah. I love Amy Sedaris, and hopefully she's listening, and she'll be chuffed with that, Nick. Yeah, with just the add-on.
I'll see you there.